Hello everybody, my name is Marlo and today I'm going to show you how to build this ultimate base in Minecraft that has just about everything you could need to survive. Starting with a perimeter going all the way around the base to keep you nice and safe from mobs. There's plenty of farmland and 4 animal pens so you won't have to worry about food, as well as a little bit of sugarcane too. Then on the inside of the house is the storage room here on the bottom level with 40 double chests in total, as well as some helpful utility blocks. Going up the bubble column will lead you to the top level where you have an enchanting setup, brewing station, lots of furnaces, and of course a bed to sleep through the night. As always, you can find a full list of materials in the description down below. The first thing you need to do is find a location to build in. Now what we're looking for is a nice flat piece of land to work with. It's unlikely you'll find an area big enough to fit the base on top that is naturally flat, so you'll probably have to do a little bit of terraforming yourself to flatten it all down to the same Y level. The size of the circular wall is 51 blocks across from one side to the other, so a diameter of 51. Just bear that in mind when you're finding a spot to build this in. But once you've got your flat area, you can grab some cobblestone and plot out where the wall is going to be built using this layout. So feel free to pause the video and place down your cobblestone on all of the coloured blocks in this formation. Alternatively, you might find this a little bit easier to look at. Very simply, you just want to place the cobblestone on all of the red blocks. It's a good idea to now make sure that everything with this wall is correct, because you don't want to be having to go back and make changes, otherwise it's going to kind of affect everything. So double, triple check the layout, make sure you got everything correct. But if you want another added layer of security, then you can do this. So come to the outside of the circle here on one of these segments. Doesn't really matter which one, you can check them all if you want, but in theory you should only have to check one. And we're just looking at this face of the cobblestone. So ignore how it looks from above, how it looks from the side. And to begin with, you should have 4 blocks, then 3 blocks, another 3 blocks, 1 block, 2 block, 1 block, 2 block, and then this one should be the block that's in the middle of this part. So if we go from over here, starting on this side, we should have 4, 3, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, and that same block in the middle. And if you've got that, you're all good to go. What you can do now is raise the cobblestone wall up by 2 more blocks. So essentially, we're making the entire wall 3 blocks high. So this base has 4 entrances, 1 on either side. And what we're going to do to actually get inside of here is just make a small archway to begin with. So 2 upside down stairs on the top blocks facing into each other with a slab in the middle. Then we can just step inside the circle here. And what we're going to do is just place in 3 spruce trapdoors going up to the stairs there. We can fold them all shut. And then just 2 temporary blocks with another trapdoor on the top middle block, leaving us with a doorway to walk through. And what we want to do with this, instead of just placing the door down like this, where a zombie could possibly break this down and get in, there's actually a way to stop that. At least there is on Java Edition. I'm not 100% certain for Bedrock. But essentially what we need to do is just walk into the door, look to the side, line ourselves up with the trapdoors here, and just place down the door. Then it folds shut, perfectly normal. But if we check the F3 screen, you can see over here where it says open, it says true. It's not really true, because if it was open, it would be open. So essentially, very simply, the zombie sees this as an open door and doesn't break it down. But to the player, it really makes no difference. If you're not a fan of the look of the door, or it doesn't work for you, or zombies are still breaking in, you can literally do something as simple as this. The only downside is mobs can see you through here, so you might get shot by a skeleton if you're really unlucky. I should also say, unless you're playing on hard difficulty, you don't need to worry about any of this. Zombies only break down doors on hard. With our doors in position on all 4 sides, the next thing we're going to do is grab a bunch of spruce trapdoors, and we're going to place a spruce trapdoor on top of all of the cobblestone blocks here. One quick tip for placing in all of these spruce trapdoors is to place them down facing the same direction. So as you're going around the circle, stay facing east, for example, or whichever cardinal direction. Doesn't matter, just make sure they're all the same one. That way you'll have this seamless texture of spruce trapdoors all connected to each other going the whole way round, and you don't end up with something like this, for example. Doesn't look that obviously bad, but it is very simply avoided by just making sure you face one direction as you go all the way around. What we're going to do now is make this wall a little more castle-like by putting a rim all the way around next to these trapdoors. So what we're going to do to begin with is just come to the entranceway here. One of them, doesn't matter, we're going to be doing it to them all. So just pick one and going to place a cobblestone slab against this central trapdoor with 2 full blocks, one on either side. Then we can come round to the center of each of these segments. Can you remember when we counted up how many blocks were along each of these and placed a torch in the middle? Well, you just want to come to this block here, which is the central one. So just to make sure you know which one it is, you go 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 3, 4. Right? Remember when we did that? Well, come to the central block here, which is this one, should have 2 blocks either side. What we're going to do is place in 2 cobblestone stairs upside down facing into each other like that. And then we're going to have 2 cobblestone slabs on top of them. You can also go ahead and do that for the rest of the entrances and quote-unquote corners of the circle, if you want to call them that, leaving us with essentially 8 different segments in between all of the blocks we've just placed down. And they're all exactly the same, so it makes this process super simple. But what we want to do is just come to the entrance here, one of them, doesn't matter which one, it's going to be copied on over afterwards. And we're going to alternate between slabs and full blocks of cobblestone going all the way around. So what you want to do is just be placing them against the trapdoor blocks. You'll probably have to crouch as you do this, but you just want to go from slab to full block until we get to these 2 slabs in the middle. Then obviously you would carry on around the rest of the circle once you've done this next part, which is to underneath all of these slab blocks, so not the full blocks, underneath all of the slabs, is to just place in another slab. So it kind of looks like another full block, just lower a little bit. The only thing we want to not do is place another slab underneath this central one. Otherwise it just looks a little bit weird. So we're not going to place a slab here, only the ones in each of the segments. Then with one segment done, you can go ahead and do the exact same thing for the rest of the circle. There's just one final thing to do to complete our wall, which is to place some lanterns on the outside. So what we want to do is just come to one of the entrances here. I'm going to place a lantern either side like that. So 1, 2, and on the 3rd block away from the door. What we can then do is just pick one of the sides and we're going to leave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks and place another. So there's 5 blocks in between them. Then we're going to do the same again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and place another here. And then we're nearly at the center point here with these 2 upside down stairs. We can very simply go ahead and do the same on the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, lantern, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, lantern. You can of course do the same from the rest of the entranceways as a start point, but just to make sure you've got them all placed in the right position, and it's not that big a deal, it's only for symmetry's sake, it's not going to mess up the build or anything, but when you come to the center point here with the 2 stairs, from each lantern there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks again, in between them both. So that is the wall all done. One last thing I will possibly recommend you doing, if you'd like, is to add in a little bit of texture with some mossy cobblestone or some other stone variants. I'm not going to do it here, but the option is there if you'd like to. If not, we can continue with the inside. The first thing we're going to do inside of the walls is place down our gravel pathway. So we're just going to come to one of the doors for now, and unfortunately we're going to have to pop our door that we ever so meticulously placed down and just replace it with a gravel block. So in case we forgot, basically line yourself up with the spruce trapdoors, place it like that and fold it shut. So it's open technically. But now what we want to do from this point here, so including this block, is go 19 blocks inwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Then we can go ahead and expand it out 1 block on either side, so it's 3 blocks wide. Then, of course, just fill it all in with our gravel blocks. And once you've done this side, you can go ahead and copy it on over for the other 4 entrances too. Now we're going to add in the inner wall, which is a little bit smaller, just made out of polished andesite and smooth stone slabs. And what we want to do is just come up to one of the doorways here, and on these grass blocks, we're going to count across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and on the 8th block, we're going to place in a polished andesite on either side. So 7 blocks in between wall and secondary wall. You can do that for the other sides too, as I've already done. But now what we want to do is connect these 2 blocks together. So what we're going to do is, starting from here, we're going to go across by 2. So we've got 3. Then we're going to go ahead and place down 4. Then we're going to do 3 again, then 2, and then 2. Then we're going to come over here and do the same. So 3, 4, not like that, like that. 3, 4, 3, 2, 2. And then we have 1 block here in the middle. So we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, facing into the middle of where the house is going to be. And what you can do then is just go ahead and place a smooth stone slab on top of all of these polished andesite blocks. And of course, do the same for the other blocks too. The next step is to sort out our farmland, which is going to be going in between the 2 walls on the outer section. And the first thing we're going to do is place in our water sources. Now, it's pretty important you get these in the right spot, otherwise it's not going to be able to hydrate all of the blocks here. And if you place them correctly, it gets every single one of them. So this is the layout. I'll show you first of all, in case you just want to copy it over this way. Might be a little bit easier. You can line up with whatever block you'd like to, but if you don't know how to place them down, I'll show you what I've been doing to line them up. So we'll just come to one of the sides here. We'll start over here. And we got our doorway. Then we're going to come to the left, skip this wall, and come to this wall here. So these 3 blocks. Then we come down to the ground and go in 1, 2, 3. And on the 4th block, we just place that there. Stick a stone brick in the water, 1 on top, and then a lantern like that. Obviously, the other side is exactly the same. So you just come over to the same wall, go 3 blocks in, place the water source, and then the 2 stone brick walls with the lantern. But for the 2 in the middle, it's a little bit different. What I've been doing is lining myself up with some of these andesite blocks here. And the block that I've been picking is this one. So what we've got is 2, 3, 2, and then the first single block of andesite. So it would be the same on the other side. So you can see we got all these ones in the middle here. The first one, essentially. So 2, 3, 2, 1. And then from this block, we go in 1, 2, and 3 blocks diagonally, and then place in the water and the 2 blocks with the lantern. So same again over here, the first single block of andesite, 2 across diagonally, and place it down like that. Make sure you place the second wall though, to get it that little bit elevated. Again, I'll just show you from above if you want to copy it that way, if it's a little bit easier. Before we start tilling the soil and planting our crops, we're going to place in our little bit of sugarcane, which is going in the corner, as I keep calling it. So where we have the 2 upside down stairs, in between the 2 inner water sources here. So what we want to do is just come to the very corner in between these 2 blocks, and we're just going to break this block as well as the 2 underneath it and place our water source down. We're just going to waterlog it with a spruce slab, and don't worry, that's still flowing water, where we can place our sugarcane down either side of it. And then above this slab here, we're going to have a barrel just where you can store some of it. And as this continues to grow, you should still be able to access the barrel. I don't think it should get in the way. So once the sugarcane is in for all 4 areas, you can go ahead and grab your hoe and start to till all of the grass blocks here, which should hopefully, if you place the water sources correctly, turn into hydrated farmland. Something I will quickly mention before we plant anything is you may potentially want to remove these dirt blocks here underneath the walls and replace them for cobblestone on this side, and then obviously polished andesite on this side. I personally wouldn't say it's necessary. If I was building this in survival, I wouldn't bother, mainly because when we plant the crops in, you hardly see down there. But those of you who are perfectionists may want to go around and make those changes with all of the dirt blocks. But unless it bothers you, I really wouldn't bother because it is quite the nuisance to actually click on that block and replace it, especially considering how many there are. When it comes to planting the crops, of course, you can use any type you would like, but what I'm doing here, since we've got 4 different areas, is using all 4 seed types: carrot, potato, wheat, and beetroot. Of course, the average player probably doesn't have much use for beetroot, so you might want to switch it out and maybe have 2 wheat, 2 potato, for example. So those are all of the crops planted, and they'll continue to grow as we carry on building here, which is actually going to be the inner rings. And what we're going to do is build the animal pens. Now, I've already gone ahead and done the other fences on all 4 sides, but I'll just show you how to do it over here on this one. So we want to start next to the polished andesite blocks, and we're going to go in along the grass blocks here, not the gravel, on the grass. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 spruce fences, a fence gate, and then another 4 spruce fences. So we should have 2 gravel overhanging here at the end. And obviously just go ahead and do the same on the other side. So 4 spruce fences either side of a fence gate. We do just need to build the bottom layer of the house, basically so we can see where the pen ends and the house begins. So what we'll do just for now is grab our polished andesite, and we're just going to place that at the end of all of these spruce fences there on all 4 sides. Then we can grab some stone bricks, and we're just going to come in by 1 block next to both of the andesite, and then across by 3. And we want to do that for all of them. So in and then across, and they should almost meet in the corner, but we'll just go ahead and get all of these in, and then we can switch over to our chiseled stone brick blocks, and we just want to place them in the corner. And that is the size of the house in the center, leaving us with 4 animal pens. I'm not going to move the animals in just yet, otherwise they're going to climb right over these blocks, so maybe save that till the end when you're all done, or just add some temporary blocks in here for now if you'd like to move them in. But I'm going to save it to the end because they are quite noisy, which brings me on to my next point of you may not want noisy animals outside of your base. And if that's the case, well, first of all, you don't have to have the animals. You could do something else entirely different here. What I'm actually going to do regardless, and I'd recommend you do this, whatever you choose to do here, is just bone meal around, get some nice long grass and some flowers to add in some color. But you don't need the animals in here. You could just have a nice luscious garden and build some extra things here, and it could be very, very nice. You could even plant some more crops if you'd like. That's if you don't want the animals at all, but if you do want the animals and you just don't want to put up with their noise, I wouldn't blame you. On Java Edition at least, not 100% sure for other versions of the game, but you can just turn down friendly creatures, so if you get them at a very low level, you hardly hear them at all. So there we go, that is the courtyard, shall we call it, all done. Aside from moving in the animals, we're now ready to start construction on the actual house part of this base. And the first thing we're going to do is come to the 4 corners here, and from these 2 stone brick blocks just next to the chiseled one, we're going to go up by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 blocks, so there are 7 in total. And then on top of the chiseled, we're going to grab some stone brick walls and place down 5 of those with another chiseled on top, and do the same for the other corners. So this house, similar to the courtyard, is pretty symmetrical. All of the sides are near enough exactly the same. So what we're going to do bit by bit is just go around and work on one side and copy it around, then we'll move up to the next level, so on and so forth. So for right now, we're just going to work on the stone layer at the bottom. So just come to one of the sides for now, and we're going to come over to the pillars here, and we're going to place a stone brick block on top with an upside down stone brick stair, followed by 4 spruce fences. Then we can add 2 wide stone brick blocks here going up to the same height as the rest. Then real quick we can do the same thing over here on the other side. And of course you can just do this for all sides as we go if you'd like to, or just copy it around afterwards, which is what I'm going to do. But we get to this point right here and we just want to add a line all the way across the top. Then 1 block here either side, and then 3 underneath, leaving this gap open for now, and then just place in 3 more blocks like that. Then we can go ahead and grab some stripped spruce logs, and just on top of these gravel blocks here, we're just going to place 3 of those either side with a horizontal one across the top, leaving a doorway where we can actually go ahead and place that down on the grass block here, not the gravel block, because we're actually going to be placing a pressure plate so we can easily walk through. And because we're already enclosed in the wall here, you don't have to worry about mobs walking on into your house. You're going to be the only one to use this door, not a creeper. So once you got that in position, we're just going to make a bit of an archway going around the doorway here. So starting with our polished andesite blocks that we've already got placed down, we can place another one on top of those, then 2 polished andesite stairs facing outwards, 2 upside down ones facing inwards, a slab here, and then a full block in the middle. In this central block that we left open, we're actually going to place in a yellowed colored glass block and then stick an oak trapdoor in front of it. This is very simply just to add in a tiny bit of color to the build. Of course, you can change up the glass color if you'd like, maybe some blue or some orange, or maybe something a bit simpler like white. It's up to you, but I like to just put something there just to give it that little bit of extra color amongst all of the grayness. For my testing, I decided on yellow being the best one. But then what we can do is just grab some spruce trapdoors, and we're going to place 2 of them here and here. So in line with this top andesite block. And on top of them, you have to crouch as you do this, but we're just going to place in 2 grindstones, which we're not pretending are grindstones, but instead lantern holders. Again, just for something a little bit different. So that is the bottom stone brick layer all done. You can go ahead and copy it round to the other 3 sides if you haven't already. And it is also worth mentioning, similar to what I suggested for the cobblestone wall, you can add a little bit of texture to this if you want, with some crackstone bricks, stone, andesite, whatever you like really. If you feel like just stone bricks isn't enough texture, feel free to add some in. But for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to be keeping it as just stone bricks. With all 4 sides of the bottom part of our house done, the next thing we can do is grab some polished andesite, and we're just going to place a single block on top of all of these stone brick blocks that we already have placed down, including the chiseled ones on the corner. So we have a full rim of polished andesite. Then we can switch over to our spruce stairs, and the first thing we're going to do is just place in 2 upside down above the chiseled blocks like that on all 4 of the corners. And then from there, essentially on all 4 sides, we're going to be switching between spruce slabs and spruce stairs going all the way along. And of course, we can do that for every single side. For the top section of the house, we're going to do the same thing as we did for the bottom, where we just do one side and copy it on over afterwards. So go ahead and pick which side you like to work on first. And the very first block we're going to place down is a barrel on top of the outer stair block. And on top of the barrel, we can go ahead and place down 4 oak logs, so you get 5 blocks high in total. Then we can go ahead and skip 2 blocks inwards and place in another barrel on both sides. And then on top of this one, we can go ahead and place 7 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So it should be 3 blocks higher than the outer pillar. Then in these 2 block gaps on both sides, we can go ahead and place 2 stripped oak logs, then 2 oak stairs on top, 4 oak trapdoors, and just fold them all flat like that, 2 upside down oak stairs, and 2 more stripped oak logs, with another one going off to the higher pillar here. And of course, just do the same over here too. For this section in the middle, we're going to grab some more stripped oak logs, and we're going to bring these up so they are 9 blocks high, just next to these oak logs here. So they should just be 1 block higher than these pillars on both of the sides. Then we can come to the bottom here and place in 3 more stripped oak logs with 3 oak stairs, and then we're going to place in 9 white stained glass panes. Of course, if you'd like some more color up here, similar to what we have here, you could use some different colors, but I think the white works pretty well. Then on top of these glass panes, we're going to have 3 horizontal stripped oak logs, followed by just a temporary block up here on top of this pillar, and then another 3 horizontal strip logs, leaving us with this 3x3 hole. And what we're going to do in here is place in 2 oak stairs at the bottom facing inwards, and 2 upside down oak stairs facing inwards at the top, followed by an oak trapdoor on all 4 sides to give us this open circular window. Just at the bottom of this window here, in front of these 3 stripped oak logs, we're going to place in some coarse dirt and turn it into a flower bed. So in front, we want to cover it up with some spruce trapdoors, as well as the blocks underneath. On the 2 sides, we'll just have 2 upside down outwards facing spruce stairs. And then on top of those, we'll have 2 brick walls, a spruce fence on top of them, and then another brick wall. Then on top of those top brick walls, we'll have 2 stairs facing outwards, 2 upside down stairs, a spruce trapdoor in the middle, and then we just want 2 on top of the upside down stairs. So this should be a little bit higher than the central one. So you should be able to place a spruce slab right in the center. And then of course, we just want to place some flowers on top of our coarse dirt here, which you can then copy round to the other 3 sides, with the only difference being the flowers you place on top of the coarse dirt. Just change them up a little bit. The final thing to do to complete the exterior of the house is, as you may have guessed, the roof. So what we're going to do in each of the corners here, next to these 2 top logs, we're going to place in a spruce plank with a spruce slab below, and then a spruce trapdoor. And as I've already done here, you can do the same for all 4 corners. But now we're just going to come to one of the sides, And the first thing we're going to do, starting at this oak log here, we're going to place an upside down stair on all of the top blocks of the blocks we've just placed down. So staircasing our way up diagonally, starting at the log here, or upside down stairs until we get to this one block gap in the middle. So we should have this for the moment, which looks pretty weird, but as long as we stick a regular stair on the back of all of these upside down stairs, we should have something that looks a little bit more roof-like. So once you've got all the upside down stairs in place, it looks a lot better. And then in the middle here, we just need a single upside down stair with a spruce slab on top, followed by a chain and another one with a lantern underneath. And then that can be copied round for the other three sides. Now we just want to connect to all of the roof shapes we've just built by connecting them with some slabs at the top. So from the center of each of them, next to this top slab, we want to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more blocks so that they all come together and meet in the middle in this cross shape. So go ahead and get those done on all 4 sides, all 7 slabs, 8 in total including this one, and then we can just have 1 more in the center. So now they're all connected. The final thing we've got left to do is just to fill in the roof on all of these quarters. So we're just going to come to one of them, and all we're placing down here is oak stairs. It's super simple, nice and easy. So from the bottom here, we'll start where this trapdoor is. Next to the spruce stairs, we'll just have 1 oak stair either side. Then the next level up, we'll have 2 oak stairs. Then 3 oak stairs, and you can probably see where we're going from here. We want to have 5 on the next level, then 7, then 9, and we should be at the top. But what I will just quickly say while we're doing this is the entire base here is in fact spawn proof. Every single block is either non-spawnable, like the roof here with all of these stairs and slabs, or we've got enough lighting down so nothing can spawn and it'll be above light level 0. So you're not going to have to worry about any mobs getting you. They're not going to be able to get through the walls or even spawn inside. So just thought I'd mention that quickly. But once we got all of those stairs placed in, we should have a line going up through the center here diagonally. And all we need to do there is just place in an extra stair on all of them. Doesn't really matter where you stand as long as you're not like back here. So just stand in the front somewhere. You can place it in and it'll auto curve round, connecting them both in the corner there. And we can just do that for all of the levels that we've just placed down. And once we got that side done, we can go ahead and do it for the other 3 too. Once you've found a way to safely get down from your roof without breaking your legs too much, we can head on inside and start work on the interior. The first thing we're going to do inside of here is sort out our floor, and in this case we are going to be using deep slate. It's got a really nice top texture as you can see, but it does require silk touch. So if you still want a deep slate floor but you don't have silk touch, then cobbled deep slate will work just as well. Once we got our floor sorted out, the next thing we're going to do is just locate the middle of the building. So line yourself up with all of the doors here and just go ahead and break that block and replace it with some dirt. Then, either corner of the dirt on all 4 of those, we're just going to place a strip spruce log and then another one on top of that. 4 spruce slabs and then 4 stairs on all of the sides. And essentially what we're making here is our bubble column going up to the 2nd level. So what we can now do is just grab some spruce fence gates and we're going to place them like this on all 4 sides. However, we want to open them up so we can walk through it seamlessly. And we'll just do that the same way on all of the sides, so it's nice and symmetrical, but it's going to stop the water from flowing out. So next up, we can just come up here, and on top of all of these stairs, we want to crouch and place down 5 spruce trapdoors, going up to the same level on all 4 of the sides on top of these stairs here. Then we can just fold them all shut to create this chute that we're going to fly up to get to the 2nd level. And now it comes to adding in the water. So what we're going to do, and you may have to just like pillar up around to do this bit, but we're going to crouch here, place a temporary block and then another one on top. Then just hop down to the bottom here and you're going to jump and place in, you might have to pillar up a little bit and place in your water bucket. And then that is the water in position, but obviously we need it to be water source blocks to turn it into actual bubbles. So we can just place our kelp here and it'll either grow over time or you can manually place it all down. And essentially whenever you place a kelp block in flowing water, it turns it into a water source block. So once you've done that, you can break the dirt here, replace it for soul sand, and it'll bubble you up to the top, and of course just break this temporary block on the surface. Up on the top here, we're just going to grab some brick stairs and place one of these on all of the spruce trapdoors here, as well as one in the corners, so we're able to create this circular shape around the water source. And we're going to do a similar thing in the four corners, so you might just want to place in some brick blocks like this going over to all four sides. These are permanent blocks that we're going to be keeping here, not temporary, so you can go ahead and do it on all four sides, but it's more so just so you can walk over here easily. And we're going to come to each of the corners and we're just going to place in 2 brick stairs like this with another in the corner. Then we're going to face the side and place in another here and here. 2 more here coming inwards, and then another in the corner. Essentially doing exactly what we've got here, but in the corner, as this is how we're going to be getting down to the bottom level again. And you can go ahead and do that for the other 4 corners over here. Just make sure you're placing them in the same way I did, so you're able to create this fully rounded edge. Once you got this in all 4 corners, giving you your 4 ways down to the bottom level, you can go ahead and fill in the remainder of the blocks here with solid brick blocks. So the top level should look like this, and the bottom level should basically be a solid brick ceiling with 4 small holes in the corners. And as I said, this is our way down, which currently is going to break your ankles a little bit. It's not exactly a fatal fall, but it's probably best to avoid taking any damage in the base if we can help it. So what we're going to do to begin with here is just place in a spruce sign in the corner, 3 blocks up from the floor. So 1, 2, and on the 3rd block on either of the stone bricks. Then we can place a spruce pressure plate in the corner there. Go ahead and step on it and look out. And we're just going to place 2 spruce doors, which as you place them, they should open up against the fences here. Then when you step away, the handle should come together in the middle. What we can do then is just go ahead and place in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 spruce trapdoors above both of these doors here. And then we can fold them all shut and they go all the way up. Just make sure you don't do something like that, which I just did. We can fold them shut and they close all the way up to the top here, basically making another chute. Obviously, it's not safe just yet. We don't have our water in, but if we place it just above the spruce sign, that is going to save us from taking any damage. So let's just do a little tester. Up our chute into survival mode, and then if we fall down, as you can see, you take no damage. The doors open up for you, you can leave, and everything closes up back as normal. Of course, you can go ahead and do that for all of the other 3 corners, so we get the nice symmetry and easy access back down to the ground level here. So the next thing we're going to do is work on the ceiling. It's a bit too much red for my liking at the moment, so we're going to break it up by placing in a polished andesite slab pattern. So what we'll do, and you may need to just pillar up to get up here, but from each of the sides we're going to have 1 in the middle. Then we're going to have 3 blocks off to the side. So essentially 7 blocks all the way along on all 4 of the sides using the polished andesite slabs. Then in the corners here, we're going to go 1, 2, and 3 just to kind of wrap around the corner chutes like that, keeping it nice and symmetrical again. And then from the central blocks on all 4 sides, we're going to have 3 slabs coming inwards, just about touching the chute in the middle, but obviously not quite. And then from these inner blocks here nearest to the trapdoors, we're just going to have a block either side of them. So we basically make a little square wrapping around the central chute. We're just going to add in a couple of lanterns. So what we want to do is just come to this block here, so diagonally away from the spruce log, and then on this spot here on the ceiling, we want to have 2 chains and a lantern. And we can just do that on all of the blocks up here, so we can nicely light up the inside, so we don't have to worry about mob spawning. The next step is to come to our main doorways here, and we're just going to make things look a little bit neater in this area. Starting with covering the colored glass up with another oak trap door, so we don't see the whole thing, but we still get a little bit of color through, just like with the outside. Then 2 blocks down on these 3 blocks, we're going to have 3 upside down spruce stairs. And then just to make this doorway a little bit more flush so it doesn't stand out like this, we're going to cover up all of these spruce logs with some spruce trapdoors, which I think makes it look a lot better. You can of course go ahead and do that for the other doorways too, so all the sides are exactly the same. And on top of these stairs here, all we're going to have is 2 barrels either side with a utility block in the middle. So we got a stone cutter, loom, smithing table, and cartography table. It may be a good idea to place the cartography table as one of the first ones, as it's a directional block. You can see this looks a lot better than this. So just place a cartography table first and make sure you've got a good spot so it doesn't just look like a dark oak plank, for example. But we can go ahead and get our smithing table down too, as well as our loom over here. Of course, we need to add in a crafting table too, but just to keep symmetry, we're actually going to add a single one here on all 4 sides next to the soul sand. Now, something I will mention is this fence gate here does have a hitbox, as you can kind of see the black outline going around. So you do have to click on the first part of the crafting table, not the middle, otherwise you're just going to do that. If that's really annoying, you can simply just switch these out for spruce signs. Again, I'm using fence gates just to keep the symmetry, but something to think about. So we got our crafting tables here, which is overkill, but I think it's handy to have them dotted around so you've got easy access to always do some crafting. The final thing to add on the bottom level is of course storage, which is going to be going in all of the corners here. So we're going to start on the floor here next to these trapdoors, and we're just going to add 5 double chests on one side, and same again over here, so they're going up to the same height as the barrels. And then you can do that for all of the other corners for 40 double chests in total, which should be plenty of storage, but you could always place them sideways if you wanted to, just to get a little bit more, or even go up an additional 2 blocks. You can still open them, you just kind of have to jump. And I will quickly mention, if you'd like to label them, you can just slap an item frame on the front so you can easily see what's inside. Now we can head up our water column to the top level and start work on the ceiling up here, which is a bit of a mess at the moment. So the first thing we're going to do is just take some spruce planks. You could use slabs here to save on a few resources if you'd like. Obviously it's just the bottom of the block you're seeing, so the whole plank isn't really necessary. But we just want to fill in this top row, all sides meeting in the middle with this block too. Now, all of these corners are going to be the same, similar with the outside of the roof. It's just kind of flipped in reverse and changed to spruce. So we're going to start at the top this time, going all the way around, 5 blocks on this side, same again over here, with another one in the corner that bends round. Then we go to 4 blocks and so on and so forth until we get all the way down to the bottom here, where we're going to do something a little bit different because we do need a tiny bit of lighting in the corner here. Nothing can spawn because it's a stair. It just gets a bit dark. So what we're going to do is have a spruce plank underneath this block, then 2 trapdoors either side of it, folded shut, chain and a lantern to add a little bit of lighting. And of course you can do that for the other 3 corners of the ceiling. Just so we can get a tiny bit more lighting in this room here, and to fill in the open spot that is just generally this room, it's quite a high ceiling, we're going to add in a chandelier. So right in the middle here on this spot, we're going to add in 4 oak fences coming all the way down. And then not on this bottom one, but on the second from the bottom oak fence, we're going to add an additional one on all 4 sides. And then on top of all of those, we're going to have a flower pot, not with anything inside of them. They're purely decorative. That isn't meant to be a flower pot. It's meant to be like a little thing that just kind of notches on the top. And then underneath all 5 of these fences, we're going to have a single chain. Obviously the central one's coming down a little bit lower, but then a lantern underneath them for a nice chandelier that kind of fills in some of the empty space we have with this high ceiling. The final few things we need to do is add in our stations, I guess we could call them, on all 4 of these sides, starting with the bed station. It's just a bed, really. And the first thing we need to do is place in 3 barrels, but not like this. We need to actually place them backwards. So we're just going to get some temporary blocks and just place them 1 block in front like that. And then we're going to crouch and kind of come right up to the edge of the block here and place it on the top pixel there. You might have to inch over just so you're able to place it down, and you want to do that for all 3 of them going along. So when we get rid of our temporary blocks, we should see the back texture of the barrel, which is this right here. Just looks a little bit nicer and not really like a barrel. We can stick our bed in the center there. Any color is absolutely fine. You can pick that if you'd like. Spruce stair in front of these 2 barrels with 2 trapdoors in front of the stairs. Then we can go ahead and place in 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that's it actually, just 4 of them going up to the same height as the glass panes. Same again on this side. And then we want to have 3 coming across the middle in line with the trapdoors as they are. But we also want to add 3 more on top just to go a little bit higher, so this is slightly thicker. The final thing we need to do is add some actual flower pots in, so ones that are going to have plants potted in them. So we'll have 2 small flower pots either side, a big decorated pot in the middle with a flower pot on top of that, so it nicely nestles into the top part there. And then of course just some decorative flowers to go inside. On the opposite side to where our bed is set up is going to be the enchanting station. So we're going to have 3 bookshelves in front of these stairs here. And then we're going to have 2 either side and then 4 more in front of all of those for a total of 15, which is high enough to get level 30 enchantments. So we can just stick our enchanting table there, so they're 1 block away from all of the bookshelves. We can also have an ender chest in the middle because it's always helpful to have that nearby, not just slotted in your inventory. Then an anvil and a grindstone either side of it. And just to make it look a little bit neater up here, we're going to have 3 oak slabs on top of all of the bookshelves. Next up is all of the furnaces, and they can go on either of the remaining windows. I guess we'll choose over here. And what we're going to do is have 3 furnaces at the bottom, regular ones that is, 3 up the side, 3 at the top, and then 3 down the other side. So we have this shape going around the window. Then I think it's quite helpful to have a blast furnace and smoker, just in case you need it. So we'll have 2 blast furnaces at the bottom and 2 smokers at the top. And then, just to make this look a little bit better, because it's a bit weird at the moment, we're going to add in another one of these circular windows. So we just want to have 2 upside down spruce stairs, 2 regular stairs on the bottom, 2 trapdoors top and bottom, and on the 2 sides as well. And then we'll do a similar thing going all the way around the edge, just with trapdoors this time. So we'll have 5 here on one side, 5 on the other side going all the way up, covering all of the sides of the furnaces, and then 5 more along the top here, which, once we get this placed down, the final one looks a lot better than it did before. For the final window over here, we are going to build our brewing station. So we're going to start with 2 barrels facing outwards at the bottom here, next to the oak stairs, with a brewing stand on top of both of them. Then we're going to skip a block and place it on the next one up on both of the sides for another brewing stand. And we'll just slot a spruce trapdoor in underneath it to act as a shelf basically. So 4 brewing stands, which is probably more than enough for the average player. But of course we need our water source, and I don't think a cauldron quite cuts it because it does run out. So we're going to make an infinite water source instead. And all we're going to do here is just stand against the window here, look outwards into the middle, and just place in 3 of our spruce trapdoors. And we can go ahead and waterlog them like that. So when you pick up from the middle block here, you'll be able to get an infinite supply of water. One thing to bear in mind, if you accidentally open these up, it's going to cause a bit of a flood, but not to worry, they'll just flow down the holes here and it's not going to break or damage anything. You can just close it back up and everything will go back to the way it was before. So there we go everybody, that's going to do it for the tutorial. I really hope you've enjoyed watching and building along with me. Thank you ever so much for doing that, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.